Another beautiful day in God's kingdom. Today we're going to take a look at a story that we find in the Bible, and it is talking about David. Before he was crowned king, he had been anointed king, but hadn't yet been crowned. There was a lot that happened in between. And we take a look at one of those things, probably one of the last things that happened before, one of the last major things that happened before he was crowned king. And so we're in the book of 1 Samuel and we're in chapter 30. Let's read from verse 1. David and his men reached Ziklag on the third day. Now the Amalekites had raided the Negev and Ziklag. They attacked Ziklag, burned it, and they had taken captive the women and everyone else in it, both young and old. They killed none of them, but carried them off as they went their way. And when David and his men reached this place, Ziklag, they found it destroyed by fire. They found it destroyed by fire, and their wives and sons and daughters had been taken captive. And so David and his men wept aloud until they had no more strength left to weep. Even David's two wives had been taken away, Ahinoam and Abigail. And David became greatly distressed because the men spoke about stoning him. Each one of them was bitter in spirit because of their sons and their daughters that had been taken away and their wives. But David, the Bible says, found strength in the Lord his God. Another version of the King James says David encouraged himself in the Lord, and I love the way the scriptures put it. But let's take a break here and just consider a few things. You see, David and his men had gone off. They hadn't just gone off, messing about or whatever. They had gone off on an assignment. They'd gone to fight a battle, which was God ordained. They had gone off to do something for God. And when they came back, of course, the last thing that they would expect is to find that everything that they owned had been destroyed and everything precious to them had been taken away. That was the last thing that they would expect. And in the same way for you and I, there might be times in your lives, in your life that you find yourself diligently doing the things of God, diligently serving God, and then your home front is nothing to write home about. You find that your children, maybe they're not exactly what you want them to, not exactly where you want them to be, or maybe your marriage itself is suffering under some kind of strain and you don't understand what's going on. You know you're doing everything right, you're living right, you know that you've been righteous and all of that, yet things are not working right at home. You know what, you need to take a break and do exactly what David did. The Bible says that he encouraged himself in the Lord. It took some time, to encourage himself in the Lord. And for you and I, when we come into that kind of a situation, the first thing you want to do is you want to examine yourself. You want to be sure that, okay, have I done everything well? Have I made any mistakes? Are there any things are there any areas that I haven't done the right thing? Are there any ways, Lord, that I've offended you? And once you have settled all of that with God, then you want to just rest assured and know that God is in control. Know that God already knows before He already knows even before you can even articulate those things. He knows what it is that's going on and He has a plan. And with that assurance and that confidence, you want to be encouraged and you want to be strengthened and know that God has got this. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.